Welcome back to another lesson in Life in the UK, a long and illustrious history. Which two families contested the Wars of the Roses in the 15th century? The House of York and the House of Windsor, the House of Windsor and the House of Lancaster, the House of Tudor and the House of Windsor, the House of York and the House of Lancaster. A civil war known as the Wars of the Roses broke out in 1455 between supporters of the House of Lancaster and the House of York. It ended in 1485 at the Battle of Bosworth Field when King Richard III of the House of York was killed. The House of York and the House of Lancaster. What important event happened in England in 1066? The Romans left England, the building of the Offa Dyke, the Norman Conquest, the Battle of Bannockburn. In 1066, William the Duke of Normandy, in what is now northern France, defeated Harold, the Saxon King of England, at the Battle of Hastings. The Norman Conquest was the last successful foreign invasion of England and led to many changes in government and social structures in England. The Norman Conquest. The term suffragettes is associated with which group of people? Men, women, children, migrants. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, an increasing number of women campaigned and demonstrated for greater rights and, in particular, the right to vote. They formed the women's suffrage movement and became known as suffragettes. Women. Dunkirk is associated with which two events? The fall of Singapore and small boats coming to the rescue, the D-Day landings and the fall of Singapore, the rescue of 300,000 men and small boats coming to the rescue, the fall of Singapore and the rescue of 300,000 men. In 1940, many civilian volunteers in small pleasure and fishing boats from Britain helped the Navy to rescue 300,000 men from the beaches around Dunkirk. The evacuation gave rise to the phrase the Dunkirk spirit. In which battle during the First World War did the British suffer 60,000 casualties on the first day? Agincourt, El Alamein, the Somme, Waterloo. In July 1916, the British suffered 60,000 casualties on the first day of the Battle of the Somme. The Somme. Which two of the following wars were English kings involved in during the Middle Ages? The Crusades and the First World War, the Crimean War and the Crusades, the Crimean War and the 100 Years' War, the Crusades and the 100 Years' War. During the Middle Ages, the English kings fought a number of wars abroad. Many knights took part in the Crusades, in which European Christians fought for control of the Holy Land. English kings also fought a long war with France, called the 100 Years' War, even though it actually lasted 116 years. The Crusades and the 100 Years' War. Which two of the following were famous Victorians? Isambard Kingdom Brunel and Margaret Thatcher, Isambard Kingdom Brunel and Florence Nightingale, Margaret Thatcher and Dylan Thomas, Margaret Thatcher and Florence Nightingale. Isambard Kingdom Brunel was a famous engineer, and Florence Nightingale established a training school for nurses, the first of its kind. Isambard Kingdom Brunel and Florence Nightingale. Is the statement below true or false? In 1707, the kingdoms of England and Scotland were united. The Act of Union, known as the Treaty of Union in Scotland, was agreed in 1707 and created the Kingdom of Great Britain. True. Which of the following statements is correct? The Highland clearances took place in Scotland. The Highland clearances took place in Ireland. The Highland clearances took place in Scotland. Many Scottish landlords destroyed individual small farms, known as crofts, to make space for large flocks of sheep and cattle. The Highland clearances took place in Scotland. Is the statement below true or false? Shakespeare was a playwright and actor. Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. He was a playwright and actor and wrote many poems and plays. True. Which cross on the Union flag represents the patron saint of England? The diagonal white cross, the diagonal red cross, the upright red cross, none of these. The cross of St. George, patron saint of England, is an upright red cross on a white ground. The upright red cross.